and welcome to Cathy Reads. I'm Cathy Wappel, and I'll be reading A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs today. But first, I have an ice cream treat that I would have kind of ran out of time. Let me just eat this. A lame ad for food out of the bottle? What does that mean? Is that like old people food? What's food out of the bottle? Excuse me while I eat this toffee bar, because I'm really 5 years old. I don't want to eat this. Look. Hi, Brush Guy. Brush Guy says, no, it seems young people food. Like a smoothie, maybe. Oh, smoothies aren't bad, though. It's so good. You know, my mom always said, don't eat in front of other people, it's rude. And I feel like she's right. But I'm a little barbarian, so. Inner Excellence, hey, how are you? It is very rude unless you share. I absolutely will share in a dead second. Do you want some, Inner Excellence? Don't choke in front of the crowd. How are you, Inner Excellence? Oh, thank you, Brush Guy, for hosting this train wreck. Inner Excellence says, I'm doing okay. It's hot in the Northeast. In the Northeast of the U.S.? The Northeast of Canada? The Northeast of New York City? Okay. I mean, it's not Maine, but okay. You deserve some of this, Inner Excellence. Is it hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirt and gritty? B, I'm enjoying ice cream first, then reading. V, I love that shork that you painted. I absolutely love it. Inner Excellence, I live in the back of the album box. B, I would be honored to hang your short right on the wall right there, next to my Cthulhu painting. Playtime with Pupper takes priority, always. Always. Have a good lurk. Hey, Fangwad. Alright. Well, I got the eating out of the way. I didn't expect that there would be a bunch of people. Hi, Mick and Kim. Today, for those that don't know, Friday is always the reading stream. It's Pulp Fiction Friday, and today we're on the end part of A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. That is the first in his John Carter of Mars series, and I had never read it before, so that has been a new and fun experience. Brushy, she had to go out and play with her dog. Fangwad says, excuse me. Fangwad says, I can't wait to find out whether that atmosphere plant thing was relevant or not. Wait, don't you already know, Fangwad? Don't you already know that? Makeright says the movie was an underrated classic. I 100% agree. I really enjoyed the movie. Now, as I'm reading A Princess of Mars, I can see how different it is from the movie. I mean, I don't care. I still like the movie, but I also liked Cowboys versus Aliens. So I still cannot bring myself to like Megaforce. I'm sorry, you guys. What was that one we watched? Star Crash. Now that was fun. That was bad, but fun. Megaforce was just. I understand, Meek, right? I understand. You're well within your rights to unsubscribe over that. Right? Right? Star Crash. Amazing. So cheesy. Oh my god. Yeah, amazingly bad and in an enjoyable way. You watched the MST3K version. Oh, you know what? I saw that there was an MST3K version. I feel like I might. I still have like 3 episodes of season 1 of Space 1999, and I just haven't had time to sit and watch TV like at all. Although yesterday I watched the first episode of the Addams Family TV series. Obviously, I've seen them all a million times, but that is just so classic. Just reminded me why I always loved the Addams Family growing up. Hey, Cookie. I saw you come in. I'm sorry I didn't say hello. You said Waffle time. Excellent. Party on. I didn't say that right. Waffle time. Excellent. Do I have to do air guitar? I'm not good at that. Cookie says if it's not Battle Beyond the Stars with John Boy. I never saw Battle Beyond the Stars. I never saw Battle Beyond the Stars. Thingwood says I haven't watched seasons 12 and 13 of MST3K yet. Star Crash was in 11. Make Right says fun weekend activity. Watch The Seven Samurai, then The Magnificent Seven, and then Battle Beyond the Stars. Okay, that sounds like a fun weekend film plan. Because I love The Magnificent Seven, and I've still never seen Seven Samurai, but I've heard so many good things about it. So, of course, I feel like I need to watch that. And I really didn't know anything about Battle Beyond the Stars. You didn't have to, but you did. What? Make Right is resubscribing just to unsubscribing it? They're all. I gather that, Make Right. I gather that because I know that Seven Samurai, that The Magnificent Seven was based off of Seven Samurai. That much I do know, even though I haven't seen the movie. The ship with ovaries? Well, every ship is genitalia, really. Honestly. You look at any of those spaceships. Fangwad says Seven Samurai is worth watching with director's commentary. Need my coaster. Pours one out for now. I feel like I might have missed something way up here. Let me just make sure. Oh, there was a bunch of German. Oh, that. Just the German. That's fine. We didn't miss anything. Fangwood says, I didn't realize that horse riders appear as silhouettes over a hill. Comes from Seven Samurai. Oh, see, I definitely need to watch that. Now, this weekend I'm busy, so I don't know if I'll be watching any movies this weekend, unfortunately. I mean, I'll be having fun. Just German. It wasn't you, Mick and Kim. It wasn't you. It was just, the real brush guy. Oh, I'm so dismissive of you, brush guy. Where did where did you go? Are you doing miniatures, brush guy? Fangwood says I get to play board games in person in about 2 hours. Did you already tell me what you were playing? I feel like you might have mentioned it. Brush guy says I'm still trying to say goodbye to just Dices. Ah, I see. And now, and now? Aw, that's so sweet. Cookie says real people. What are they like again? Um, Real people are a lot like me, only slightly different. Like, real people might not want to smell you like I do. And they might not want to eat your waffles like I do. And possibly they don't want to make you pancakes. Because most real people are just jerks. Thing was, it says, yeah, I might have been mentioning it every day now. Midara, yes, Midara. I don't know why that name doesn't stick in my head. And you're the one who posted the link to their wiki and stuff so that I could read about them, or the whatever the link was, so that I could read about them. Make Right says, I got to do tabletop gaming this past weekend with real people. Did they make waffles, Make Right? Brush Guy, sniff, sniff. Are you sniffing? Are you sniffing around, Brush Guy? Cookies, smelling, waffles, eating, pancakes, jerks. Got it. Fangwad wants to know most real people are German. I feel like there are a lot of real German people out here. Did not have waffles or waffles. I would have remembered if you had waffles, Make Right. Mick says, I'm German, but trust me, I'm not real at all. At all. I've met Mick and Kim, and I can attest to that fact. She's totally not real. Fresh Guy was trying to smell the chat. Ooh, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if that's a good idea, Brush Guy. You don't want to get too close to the chat. Mick and Kim is where in Germany, Mick and Kim? Whereabouts? Cookie. Oh, Cookie, you're so sweet to warn the real Brush Guy. I would have just let fly. I'm rude that way. Inner Excellence says, I hear that there are real people in Germany, but I am not sure I believe it. Fangod says, Cathy said jerks, but I heard Germans. I'm gonna spill my tea. I mean, oh my goodness. Mick and Kim is in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where she lives. Pre or post unification? Asks Make Right. What timeout? Brush Guy? Timeout is a very real thing, by the way. What is timeout? What did you do? For folks that make fun of us Germans, I would never make fun of you Germans. I mean, I would. I absolutely would make fun of you, but not for being German. It would be for other things. You know that. You know that. Because you don't understand jokes. I can't even read that with a straight face. Yes, yes. You're very serious people. Yes. They have no sense of humor whatsoever. Although some of them make really terrible puns. Terrible puns. Make right. Germans have no sense of humor, it is true. Inner Excellence says, in a truly fair and democratic world, you can make fun of people for all reasons. So being childish makes me more democratic. I wouldn't ever make fun of people for where they're from. It would always be about something else and have nothing to do with that. I mean, I know you're just joking. But I know that there's some people that don't joke. Mick says, "Oh, my humor is there, but other people don't get me." That's how I feel. That's why I love this group of weirdos, because they get me. Like in the painting community, in the gaming community, in the nerd geek community, uh they get me more often than just people out, like my neighbors. If I was going to the grocery store and I wanted to say something funny that I thought was funny, where I was trying to be funny, and they would just look at me like, she serious? She, what did she just say? V says, "Okay, we played ball for a bit. Now I'm here, assuming meine Hund lies down." Never for all reasons, just very specific reasons, yes. Mick says, "People think I'm rude, but that's just my nature." It's fine. And of course, Inner Excellence is joking, and since I'm from Brooklyn, I'm always made fun of for where I'm from. Do you have that strong accent, Inner Excellence? Brush Guy says, "You have to be very careful out there interacting with normal people, Cathy. I'm not feared for my life, but they do think I'm odd." Did you wear your dog out, V? What? You mean like wrap him around her shoulders and wear your dog out? That's how I feel about my Minnesota accent. It gets stronger when I'm there, and then for a while after I get back, then people really will tell me they could tell that I was just in Minnesota. Yeah, it's a dog stole. Perhaps he is Muda. I suck with umlauts. That's a widely known fact. Anyways, we should read. We should read. It's not a distracting painting day. It is a reading day. Just say the Ulikin. Is this where it's appropriate to say fresa? Fresh guy? Ruhrgebiet? I hate you. Inner Excellence says it's funny that everywhere I go in the world, they know I'm from New York. You're only trying to help. Yeah, only trying to help. Halte die Schnauze? Wait, is the Z like a Z, or is it Halte die Schnauze? I don't know. Like, I don't know German, so that's why I'm asking. V says, "Cookie, I painted a good short today." She did. She did. Cookie says, "Okay, I have a great stream. I have to head up to Dad's. Have a good visit with your dad, Cookie. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good weekend." Brush Guy says, "You're getting better every time. Very, very subtle, though." I am slow. It's okay. You can say it. Ooh, you definitely have to scan it so that you have a copy. The second one was right. Thank you, Mick and Kim. Brush guy, the real brush guy is the reason I know any of the German words that I know, except for Gesundheit. My dad always says that. Okay, so now it's reading time. It's reading. I have a book on my Kindle. It is all your fault. Yes. So we are on chapter 23, it looks like. And how far? We are 82% done with this book. So I'm hoping that we just finish it today. Chapter 23, Lost in the Sky. Do you know what? Let's go back to the last paragraph of the previous chapter. Last week, on A Princess of Mars, they left the hall, and as darkness had fallen without, I slipped lightly from my hiding place and hastened to the balcony. Few were in sight, and choosing a moment when none seemed near, I sprang quickly to the top of the glass wall, and from there to the avenue beyond the palace grounds. So this is when John Carter is escaping from the palace of his enemy. Which enemy was it? I don't know. It was one of the Green Martians. It was that one guy. They wanted to kill him. So he killed it's not a Green Martian. How foolish of me. He's not in the palace of the Green Martians. He's in the palace of the Red Martians. The not Helium, but the other city. The other kingdom. So Dejathorus has promised to marry the prince of this other kingdom, so that there can be peace between their two communities. And John Carter killed all the four guards that were guarding her so that he could talk to her because, you know, he loves her. So he wanted to talk to her, so he had to kill the four guards first. Because that's what you do when you want to be with the girl of your dreams. You kill the four guys guarding her, and you know, you have a chat with her. You try to convince her not to marry the guy, but she's like, "Well, I promised him. If I had known you were alive, then I never would have done that, but I thought you were dead, and there's war between our two kingdoms, so I thought it would probably be a good idea, but now I can't go back on my word." So Fangwad says, "But he can't kill her fiance because if he does, she can't marry him, right? Right? Exactly. So my bet is he's going to get his friend to kill him. His friend, what's his face? The guy from Helium. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Except keeping the Martian population down to levels the planet can support. I thought that's what disease was for, but war also does the job too. Kantos Khan. Yes, thank you, Fangwad. You have such a much better memory than I do. Okay, so we're caught up, right? We're all caught up. Chapter 23, Lost in the Sky. Without effort at concealment, I hastened to the vicinity of our quarters, where I felt sure I should find Cantos Can. As I neared the building, I became more careful, as I judged, and rightly. Hey! Hey! It's a raid! I feel like there's probably ads and I should probably wait to say anything to people, but thank you, Dices, for the raid. Thank you so much. And hey, Taz, JJ, hashtag Pappy Kathy. Trader Legions, Trouble. I was just starting to read chapter 23, you guys, like just now. So you haven't missed anything. I'm reading A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. This is the first book in the John Carter of Mars series. It was written in 1917. And so Fridays is my reading stream. I don't paint miniatures on Friday. I read Pulp Fiction of the early 1900s. Thank you, Just Dices, for the raid. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And yes, go and eat. Go and eat. Go and sleep. Do the middle of the night things you need to do, Just Dices. Thank you again. Have a good weekend. It's so supple. I don't think I don't think there's been anything supple in this whole book, JJ. It's it's a little odd. Maybe there was one supple. There might The pretty lady is supple. Deja Thoris is definitely supple. JJ says, Kathy, you make everything supple. I'd like to think maybe there's something I make less supple, JJ. So, we just did a review of the story so far. Hey, deadbeat artist. I still kind of want to smell you. Not gonna lie. So, we're on chapter 23 of A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. You're welcome to any time, says deadbeat artist. Why, thank you. I'll take you up on that. Make Right says, I am honestly now afraid of going anywhere near Chicago. Make Right, I would get your consent before sniffing you. Just to be clear, if it made you uncomfortable, I would not do it. I may be rude and a barbarian, but I'm not that rude. Deadbeat artist, more than 5 minutes of sniffing costs money, though. That seems fair. That seems fair. JJ volunteers as tribute. I noted. Trouble says, laugh my ass off. Unconsented sniffing is an art form, though. You have to be surreptitious about it. You don't want to be creepy. First sniff is free. Quote it, quote it. If it made you uncomfortable, I would not do it. I mean, that doesn't go for everything. Obviously. V says the puppy will sniff you all over. He doesn't care much about if you want it. That's true. That's true. He climbs too. He's a climber. But I knew that. I knew that ahead of time, and I was prepared for that. Deadbeat Artist says, unconsenting stinking, though. You know, some people can't help it. Free Serious Black says, if you compliment them and ask what shampoo they use, it's fine, right? I would think if you notice the way somebody smells and said they smell nice and ask what the shampoo is, I think that's in line, right? I would be okay with that. I wouldn't be okay with on the bus somebody like right next to my head going, you smell really good. What shampoo do you use? That might be a little creepy. Hey, Dio. When do we set up a challenge for Cathy to show side boob? I totally thought that when I first glanced at it, Dio, I totally thought that said Sideshow Bob. I'm all about showing you the Sideshow Bob. Mick and Kim has to finish. Have a good night, Mick and Kim. Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you later. Treble says they just do a random sniff. You smell amazing. Dad says, I only ask that as I have my face buried in Cathy's hair on the bus. Oh, that's you. I thought it was a little steamy back there. You smell real good. You got a pretty mouth, too. There's some groping happening in the chat, which is good. Deadbeat Artist says, my friend has very curly hair and she has a problem with people touching her hair. Smelling is one thing, but just touching hair? Yeah, I don't get that. Like, just going up and... You know what? Just going up and touching anything on a person that's not you is weird. Taz says, when Trouble does that, I say, thank you. I just fart. Yeah. 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 You do realize that Trouble and I are conspiring against you, Taz. Should we all be at the same convention? Ever. You're going to get the double bubble in the morning. It's going to be so bubbly, your head's going to explode. Free Serious Black says, I get touches for that too. I mean, at least when, because I have incredibly straight hair, like just so stupidly straight and fine and thin. I had somebody ask if they could touch my hair because nobody in their community had just such straight, fine hair. But she asked. She asked. She didn't just go and like grab my hair. Oh, thanks, JJ. There's some groping going on in chat. Good. Yes. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Seems like a good one. Dio says, I know when I met V, I said, you have nice shoes, while I stared at her chest. That's the right way to be a gentleman. Absolutely, Dio. You're nothing but a gentleman. So I'm reading today. It doesn't seem like I'm reading. I'm reading the chat now, but Taz insists he ain't scared. He ain't scared of no bubbly chicks in the morning. We will be perky together. It's going to be like, I don't know. Well, not this year because I'm not going to like ReaperCon or anything this year. but next year, we'll have Adepticon, we'll have Gen Con, we'll have ReaperCon, the usual ones. And so should you happen to be at any of those, we can be perky together. I absolutely am a morning person. Free Sirius Black says summer is better for it because it's in a bun all day, every day. That was me when I had long hair. I always just kept it in a bun all the time. Dio says, I've warned Jimmy the Brush that I'm going to introduce myself to him and Princess by asking for my child, their new baby. What are you, Rumpelstiltskin? Deadbeat Artist has to go feed Mom. Okay, see you later. Sorry if I missed that. Dio says, I've had people to ask to touch my hair, but they meant the hair on my back, so... Yeah, you've got some freaky back hair, Dio. Not gonna lie. I kind of want to run your fingers through that luxurious pelt. JJ says, yeah, I wouldn't know what that's like. Even my hair is kinky. No, let's read that right. Even my hair is kinky. That's better. That's a much more JJ way to say it. Chat uses distraction. It's super effective. Yeah, that's true. Oh, we will be perky together. V says, I want to go to Fort Wappel 2022. Yes, Fort Wappel 2022. That's going to be so much fun. Trouble next year, ReaperCon perkiness. Alrighty. Excellent. We have something else to look forward to now. Of the many things we have to look forward to at ReaperCon. V says I have to discuss with Tell, though. Well, you've got some time. You've got some time to plan. Brush Guy says, if anyone ever wants to touch the hair on my butt, you're welcome. All right. That's good to know. It's good to know. Thank you. Thank you for that, Brush Guy. Taz says, I live alone with trouble. I deal with it daily. Trouble says, if I can get Taz out of the house. Adepticon 2022 are going for drinks and karaoke, y'all. Yes. We absolutely are going to do those things. Absolutely. And Make Right says, I will bring all of my ships so it can be a port Wappel. I feel like the fort probably is on the coast, and so there is a port there. So there is a safe harbor at Fort Wappel. Absolutely. JJ says, my chest hair is called an Irish tapestry. Fangwad says, 45 minutes and Cathy had read like 5 words. I read more than 5 words. I read like a paragraph. JJ says, there's a reason I go through so much conditioner. Well, 2 reasons. If Taz won't go with you and Tell won't go with me, roomies, that's what you should do. And there's Stanley. Stanley, the emote. I speak. I talk. Okay, so chapter 23, Lost in the Sky. This is chapter 23 of A Princess of Mars, the first book in the John Carter of Mars series. And poor John Carter, lovesick, lovelorn, just found out Dejah Thoris, Princess of Helium, has promised herself to another man, even though she really loves John Carter. So, let's see what happens. Without effort at concealment, I hastened to the vicinity of our quarters, where I felt sure I should find Kantos Kan. As I neared the building I became more careful, as I judged, and rightly, that the place would be guarded. Several men in civilian metal loitered near the front entrance, and in the rear were others. My only means of reaching unseen the upper story where our apartments were situated was through an adjoining building, and after considerable maneuvering I managed to attain the roof of a shop several doors away. Leaping from roof to roof, like the tick, I soon reached an open window in the building where I hoped to find the heliumite, and in another moment I stood in the room before him. He was alone and showed no surprise at my coming. Say he had expected me much earlier, as my tour of duty must have ended some time since. I saw that he knew nothing of the events of the day at the palace, and when I enlightened him he was all excitement. The news that Dejah Thoris had promised her hand to Sab Than filled him with dismay. "It cannot be!" he exclaimed. "It is impossible! Why, no man in all Helium but would prefer death to the selling of our loved princess to the ruling house of Zodanga. She must have lost her mind to have assented to such an atrocious bargain. You, who do not know how we of Helium love the members of our ruling house, cannot appreciate the horror with which I contemplate such an unholy alliance." "What can be done, John Carter?" he continued. "You are a resourceful man. Can you not think of some way to save Helium from this disgrace?" "If I can come within sword's reach of Sab Than," I answered, "I can solve the difficulty in so far as Helium is concerned. But for personal reasons I would prefer that another struck the blow that frees Dejah Thoris." Kantos Kan eyed me narrowly before he spoke. "You love her," he said. "Does she know it?" "She knows it, Kantos Kan, and repulses me only because she is promised to Sab Than." "Wait, loitering in the rear?" "Loitering in whose rear?" Taslan says, "Fun fact, Trouble's cousin's husband has a company called Barzoomian Entertainment, named after these stories." "Rear loitering requires consent." "She knows it. Yes, V, she knows it." "Repulses me only because she has promised to Sab Than." The splendid fellow sprang to his feet, and grasping me by the shoulders, raised his sword on high, exclaiming, "And had the choice been left to me, I could not have chosen a more fitting mate for the first princess of Barzoom. Here is my hand upon your shoulder, John Carter, and my word that Sab Than shall go out at the point of my sword, for the sake of my love for Helium, for Dejah Thoris, and for you. This very night I shall try to reach his quarters in the palace." Now, that's a real friend. "How?" I asked. "You are strongly guarded, and a quadruple force patrols the sky." He bent his head in thought a moment, then raised it with an air of confidence. "I only need to pass these guards, and I can do it," he said at last. "I know a secret entrance to the palace, through the pinnacle of the highest tower. I fell upon it by chance one day as I was passing above the palace on patrol duty. In this work it is required that we investigate any unusual occurrence we may witness, and a face peering from the pinnacle of the high tower of the palace was, to me, most unusual. I therefore drew near and discovered that the possessor of the peering face was none other than Sab Than. He was slightly put out at being detected, and commanded me to keep the matter to myself, explaining that the passage from the tower led directly to his apartments, and was known only to him. If I can reach the roof of the barracks and get my machine, I can be in Sab Than's quarters in 5 minutes. But how am I to escape from this building, guarded as you say it is?" "How well are the machine sheds at the barracks guarded?" I asked. There is usually but one man on duty there at night upon the roof. Go to the roof of this building, Kantos-kan, and wait me there." Without stopping to explain my plans, I retraced my way to the street, and hastened to the barracks. I did not dare to enter the building, filled as it was with members of the Air Scout Squadron, who, in common with all Zodanga, were on the lookout for me. The building was an enormous one, rearing its lofty head fully 1,000 feet into the air, but few buildings in Zodanga were higher than these barracks, though several topped it by a few hundred feet, the docks of the great battleships of the line standing some 1,500 feet from the ground, while the freight and passenger stations of the merchant squadrons rose nearly as high. It was a long climb up the face of the building, and one fraught with much danger. There was no other way, and so I essayed the task. The fact that Barzoomian architecture is extremely ornate made the feat much simpler than I had anticipated, since I found ornamental ledges and projections, which fairly formed a perfect ladder for me all the way to the eaves of the building. Here I met my first real obstacle. The eaves projected nearly 20 feet from the wall to which I clung, and though I encircled the great building, I could find no opening through them. The top floor was alight, and filled with soldiers engaged in the pastimes of their kind. I could not, therefore, reach the roof through the building. There was one slight desperate chance, and that I decided I must take. It was for Dejah Thoris, and no man has lived who would not risk 1,000 deaths for such as she. Clinging to the wall with my feet and one hand, I unloosed one of the long leather straps of my trappings, at the end of which dangled a great hook, by which air sailors are hung to the sides and bottoms of their craft for various purposes of repair, and by means of which landing parties are lowered to the ground from the battleships. I swung this hook cautiously to the roof several times before it finally found lodgment. Gently I pulled on it to strengthen its hold, but whether it would bear the weight of my body I did not know. It might be barely caught upon the very outer verge of the roof, so that, as my body swung out at the end of the strap, it would slip off and launch me to the pavement 1,000 feet below. An instant I hesitated, and then, releasing my grasp upon the supporting ornament, I swung out into space at the end of the strap. Far below me lay the brilliantly lighted streets, the hard pavements, and death. There was a little jerk at the top of the supporting eaves, and a nasty slipping, grating sound, which turned me cold with apprehension. Then the hook caught, and I was safe. Clambering quickly aloft, I grasped the edge of the eaves and drew myself to the surface of the roof above. As I gained my feet, I was confronted by the sentry on duty, into the muzzle of whose revolver I found myself looking. "Who are you, and whence came you?" he cried. "I am an air scout, friend, and very near a dead one, for just by the merest chance I escaped falling to the avenue below," I replied. "But how came you upon the roof, man? No one has landed or come up from the building for the past hour. Quick, explain yourself, or I call the guard." "Look you here, sentry, and you shall see how I came, and how close a shave I had to not coming at all," I answered, turning toward the edge of the roof where 20 feet below, at the end of my strap, hung all my weapons. The fellow, acting on impulse of curiosity, stepped to my side, and to his undoing, for as he leaned to peer over the eaves, I grasped him by his throat and his pistol arm, and threw him heavily